Angelica Larsson's story begins in a way that feels almost too simple for the scale of attention she later received. Sitting inside the cab of a truck, surrounded by the constant vibration of engines and road noise, she introduces herself as a working truck driver from Sweden, someone moving heavy machinery across borders, particularly into Finland. At face value, it is just a job description, but over time, that image became something much larger in the public imagination. Millions of viewers encountered her through short clips and social media posts, where her calm confidence behind the wheel contrasted sharply with the immense industrial machines she operated. Yet what people saw was only a fraction of her daily reality. The deeper narrative that formed around her online presence turned her into something of a modern legend, blending real skill with audience projection. As her visibility increased, so did the layers of interpretation, speculation, and storytelling built around her life. The result was not just recognition for her work, but a growing mythos that often overshadowed the practical, demanding reality of her profession. Early childhood and the first encounter with heavy machines. The origin of Angelica Larsson's connection to trucking is often described as beginning in early childhood, long before any formal training or professional ambition. At just 4 years old, she reportedly experienced her first moment inside a large truck cab, an environment that immediately captured her imagination. While most children were drawn to conventional play, she found herself fascinated by the scale, control systems, and elevated perspective offered by heavy vehicles. This early exposure became a symbolic turning point, planting the idea that machines of enormous size could represent freedom rather than intimidation. As she grew older, that fascination did not fade or become a passing curiosity. Instead, it developed into a consistent interest that shaped her identity. The idea of controlling something powerful and mechanical became tied to her sense of independence. Unlike typical childhood dreams that shift over time, hers remained unusually stable, eventually guiding her toward vocational training and professional licensing. This early connection between curiosity and machinery would later become the foundation of her entire career path: training, licensing, and the start of a professional path. By the time she reached her late teens, Angelica made the decision to pursue formal qualifications in heavy vehicle operation. In 2009, at around 19 years old, she entered training programs that required both technical understanding and practical skill under strict safety standards. Obtaining a commercial driving license in Sweden is not a casual process. It involves theoretical exams, practical driving tests, and a strong understanding of vehicle mechanics and road safety regulations. For Angelica, this was not just an educational step but a commitment to a lifestyle that demanded discipline and resilience. She expanded her qualifications beyond standard trucking, eventually learning to operate additional heavy machinery such as loaders, snowplows, and specialized transport equipment. This diversification of skills made her adaptable within industrial logistics environments, particularly in regions where weather and terrain create unpredictable challenges. Her early career involved long hours, physically demanding conditions, and exposure to harsh Nordic climates, all of which reinforced her technical ability and confidence behind the wheel. Building experience in harsh Nordic conditions. Working in Sweden's transport and mining-adjacent industries meant facing some of the most challenging driving environments in Europe. Angelica's routes often took her through icy roads, remote industrial zones, and mountainous terrain where weather conditions could change rapidly. Snowstorms, freezing temperatures, and limited visibility were not occasional obstacles but regular aspects of the job. These conditions required more than standard driving ability. They demanded constant awareness, precise control, and deep familiarity with vehicle behavior under stress. Operating heavy machinery in such environments also involved logistical preparation, including load securing, route planning, and mechanical inspections before departure. Each journey required careful calculation because even minor misjudgments could lead to significant consequences. Over time, these repeated challenges built her reputation as a reliable and skilled operator capable of handling complex transport assignments. Rather than being deterred by difficulty, she became increasingly specialized in environments that demanded precision, reinforcing her role in the heavy transport sector. The rise of social media attention and public recognition. Angelica's entry into social media began gradually, with early posts appearing around 2012. Initially, These posts were simple glimpses into her daily work, images of trucks, machinery, and road journeys. However, the combination of her professional environment and on-camera presence quickly attracted attention. Viewers were drawn not only to the scale of the machines she operated, but also to the contrast between expectation and reality. Her appearance, confidence, and technical skill created an image that challenged common stereotypes about truck drivers. As her audience grew, media attention followed, and she became widely recognized online as a distinctive figure in the trucking community. This visibility transformed her from a private professional into a public personality. However, this shift also changed the way her work was perceived, as audiences began to focus on her identity as much as her profession. The attention brought opportunities but also scrutiny, placing her under a level of observation that extended far beyond her original intentions. The label that changed everything about her image. As her popularity increased, Angelica became associated with a label that followed her across platforms: the world's most beautiful truck driver. While often presented as a compliment, this phrase significantly altered how audiences engaged with her content. Instead of focusing solely on her technical skill and professional expertise, much of the public discussion shifted toward her appearance. This created a dual perception of her identity, one based on competence and another based on aesthetics. For Angelica, this label was not something she actively sought, and it often conflicted with how she viewed her own work. She consistently emphasized that her priority was professionalism, not image. However, online culture tends to amplify visual characteristics, especially in environments where physical appearance contrasts with occupational expectations. This dynamic placed her in a position where she had to repeatedly reaffirm her legitimacy as a skilled operator. The tension between recognition and misrepresentation became a recurring theme in her public presence. Professional reality behind the online image. Despite the attention surrounding her appearance, Angelica's daily work remained grounded in physically demanding and highly technical responsibilities. Her routine includes early morning inspections, detailed mechanical checks, and careful preparation of heavy transport vehicles before departure. Each task requires precision because the loads she handles are often oversized industrial machines intended for mining and construction operations. These are not standard freight deliveries but complex logistical operations involving coordination, safety planning, and environmental awareness. In many cases, she must navigate remote routes where infrastructure is minimal and conditions are unpredictable. The contrast between online perception and operational reality is significant. While audiences may see short clips or scenic moments, the actual work involves extended periods of concentration and physical endurance. Her professionalism is defined not by presentation but by execution under pressure, particularly in environments where small errors can lead to major operational disruptions. The question of authenticity and online skepticism. As her visibility expanded, Angelica also faced skepticism from segments of online audiences who questioned whether she was genuinely performing the work she displayed. This skepticism stemmed partly from stereotypes about trucking and partly from misunderstanding how social media content is produced. Some critics suggested that her videos were staged, or that she was primarily a model rather than an active driver. These claims reflected broader internet tendencies to doubt polished or visually appealing content, especially when it challenges traditional occupational expectations. However, Angelica responded not through argument alone but by consistently documenting her work processes in detail. Her content often includes extended sequences of loading, driving, and unloading heavy machinery, demonstrating operational knowledge that aligns with professional standards. Over time, this transparency helped counter many of the doubts, reinforcing her credibility within both online and professional communities. The persistence of skepticism, however, highlights how digital fame often comes with assumptions that must continuously be addressed. Special transport and the demands of precision logistics. A defining aspect of Angelica's career is her specialization in heavy and oversized transport, particularly within Sweden's industrial and mining sectors. This type of work involves moving equipment such as wheel loaders, excavators, and industrial components that require specialized trailers and careful route planning. Unlike standard freight transport, these operations often involve navigating infrastructure that was not designed for such large loads. Roads may be narrow, icy, or structurally limited, requiring precise maneuvering and coordination with support teams. Each transport mission involves multiple stages, including preparation, loading, securing, transit, and unloading, all of which must be executed with accuracy. The complexity of this work means that drivers must maintain constant awareness of weight distribution, road conditions, and mechanical stability. Angelica's ability to consistently manage these variables has contributed to her reputation as a highly capable operator within this specialized field of logistics. Life choices and the meaning behind her memoir. In 2022, Angelica published a memoir titled Choices, which provided insight into the personal challenges behind her professional life. The book explored themes of independence, decision-making, and the emotional complexity of pursuing a demanding career. While her public image often emphasized confidence and success, the memoir revealed that her journey also involved difficult personal decisions and moments of emotional strain. The title itself reflects the central idea that her life path was shaped by deliberate choices, often requiring trade-offs between stability and personal fulfillment. Although she has kept many details private, the book suggests that balancing relationships with a demanding travel-based profession created significant emotional challenges. Life on the road often involves long periods of isolation, which can affect personal connections and emotional continuity. The memoir reframes her story not as a simple success narrative, but as a series of decisions shaped by both ambition and personal sacrifice. Challenges of relationships and emotional distance. One of the underlying themes in Angelica's story is the difficulty of maintaining personal relationships while living a highly mobile and time-intensive lifestyle. Truck driving, especially in specialized transport, requires long periods away from home, irregular schedules, and extended solitude. These conditions can place strain on friendships, family ties, and romantic relationships. While she has not publicly detailed specific relationships, the nature of her profession suggests that emotional distance and logistical separation are ongoing challenges. The memoir and her public statements indicate that these experiences contributed to her understanding of independence and self-direction. Rather than framing her career as purely professional, she presents it as intertwined with personal growth shaped by difficult choices. This dimension of her life adds complexity to her public image, showing that success in physically demanding careers often comes with unseen emotional costs, resilience, skill, and the reality of extreme driving conditions. Angelica's work environment often involves extreme driving conditions that test both technical skill and mental endurance. Transporting oversized machinery through Arctic regions requires navigating snow-covered roads, black ice, limited visibility, and unpredictable weather systems. These conditions demand continuous concentration and the ability to make rapid adjustments based on subtle changes in traction or vehicle behavior. Wildlife encounters, narrow industrial paths, and steep terrain further increase the level of difficulty. Each journey becomes a test of precision and control, where experience plays a critical role in ensuring safety and success. Her ability to operate under these conditions reflects not only technical training but also accumulated real-world experience. The combination of environmental challenges and logistical complexity makes her work significantly more demanding than conventional long-haul trucking. Public perception, business identity, and digital growth. As her career progressed, Angelica also became a recognizable brand within digital platforms, even if unintentionally at first. Her content attracted global audiences, turning her professional identity into a form of media presence. This visibility created opportunities for collaboration, audience engagement, and broader recognition within transportation and logistics communities. At the same time, it required careful management of public perception, as her image was constantly shaped by viewer interpretation. The blending of professional work and digital storytelling allowed her to reach audiences beyond her immediate industry, but also introduced challenges related to privacy and representation. Her growing influence demonstrates how modern professionals can become public figures through consistent documentation of their work, even without pursuing traditional media careers. This dual identity, as both operator and content creator, has become a defining feature of her presence online. Conclusion and the meaning of the journey. Angelica Larsson's story represents a combination of technical skill, personal determination, and evolving public perception. What began as a childhood fascination with machines developed into a professional career defined by precision, endurance, and adaptability. Over time, her visibility transformed her from a working driver into a widely recognized figure, bringing both opportunity and scrutiny. Yet beneath the online attention lies a consistent reality of demanding labor, environmental challenges, and logistical complexity. Her experiences highlight the contrast between public image and professional reality, showing how easily perception can diverge from lived experience. At the core of her journey is a series of choices, personal, professional, and emotional, that shaped her path through an unconventional but deeply committed career.